Hey, what's up? This is Jimmy Brown. Welcome to another installment of String Theory. In this lesson, I want to show you a cool little etude I came up with I call Raking Leaves. I call it that because it's based upon the chord changes to the old jazz standard Autumn Leaves, which we looked at in the previous two lessons. This time I'm doing a neat thing where I'm incorporating string raking, also known as sweep picking or economy picking. It's based on a short one-beat motif or pattern that's a downstroke and high string followed by an upstroke sweep or rake across the E, B, and G strings. And I take that through a sequence of arpeggios going over the first 8 bars of the Autumn Leaves. So I'll play it for you first, then I'll break it down, show you the fingerings, and then we'll talk about voice slating, and we'll look at the chords that it goes over. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the pattern, as I stated in the intro, is based upon a downstroke and then an upstroke sweep. What we want to do is accent that first note and hold it for its full duration as an 8th note. And then these 3 notes you want to get off them real quick. I'm doing some freehand muting right after I finger each note. That serves 2 purposes. One, it keeps the notes sounding distinct and separate, right? Like an arpeggio as opposed to a strummed chord. I mean, you don't want to go. It sounds like you're playing a chord, or doing an arpeggio on a piano with the pedal down when you're not supposed to have the pedal down. Okay, there are a few wide stretches here. So again, the good thing about getting off of each note is that you allow yourself a little bit of wiggle room to shift your hand. Let it kind of pull where it needs to go to hit the next note. So concentrate on it one cell at a time, each shape. Okay, that's A minor 7. We're starting on the 5th of the chord, by the way, E. And then we go to D9. This note went from G to F sharp. That actually is the same as F sharp minor 7 flat 5. It's an example of what's called a chord or arpeggio superimposition. We're actually playing a different arpeggio over a bass note to get a different sound. We'll get more into that in the future. Okay, D9, and then D7 flat 9. Okay, so far we're using 4, 1, 2, 3 as our fingering. Okay, and then, oh, by the way, that is C diminished 7th. Play over a B bass note, you get that B7 flat 9 sound, okay? Then we go to G major 7. This is probably the trickiest one. I'm using 3 and then 1, 1, 2, 4, because I'm going 10th fret, 7th, 8th, 11th. It's a little weird at first, but once you get used to it and you expect it, you anticipate it, you see it coming. Okay, then you go to G7. Then I switch back to 4, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going, in terms of freehand fingers, 3, 1, 2, 4, and then do that twice, and then 4, 1, 2, 3. So it's. Don't worry too much if you fudge that G string note a little bit, because it goes by so quickly, and in the context of the thing, the ear is really the ear brain is taking in the whole thing, and it's gravitating towards the overall sound of the arpeggio and the progression, particularly the top note, it's accented. And then C major 7, actually C major 9. Another example of chord superimposition. Here, if you look at that, that's an E minor 7 arpeggio. But played over a C bass note. Gives you a pretty C major 9 sound without the root. Again, we'll get more into the theory part of it later. And then we go to C major 7. Okay, the middle finger has to do a little hop there. 8th fret, and then 7, and then see how it hops over to the B string? Okay, then F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Again, we're using 3 1, 2, 4, as we did for G major 7. A slightly different shape, but still, we're not leading with the pinky, we're leading with the ring finger. Each one of these is not that hard to do. Once you get it, you practice it in isolation, it's actually delightfully not too hard to play. And then B7 flat 9. Again, I'm using C diminished 7th to get that sound. And then I go to a straight B7 sound, because it's nice to hear that straight ahead kind of classical. And then E minor 7. This is kind of a wide shape. It's the same as the A minor 7 shape we started out with, except now we're 7th fret. And then B7 flat 9 again, but we're using C diminished 7th. And then E minor 7, but we're incorporating open strings. The open high E string specifically. And then E7 flat 9 and a higher inversion of E7 flat 9 that takes us up to the next position. That's an interesting shape, by the way. It's symmetrical, meaning it's the same shape in minor thirds. Just like a diminished chord. You've seen that, right? Well, the same thing with the arpeggios. You've seen Yngwie Duty's sweeps. It's fun to do, right? So, and then we're into our second half, a second 8-bar course. We're going to start on A minor 7. Okay, pretty compact shape, easy. Again, you want to get off of each of the notes of the sweep. D9. Again, that's really F sharp minor 7 flat 5. But you play that over a D bass note, you get a nice, sophisticated D9 sound without the root. And then D7 flat 9. Again, that's a half step above the root, a diminished 7th arpeggio to get a dominant 7 flat 9 sound. D7 flat 9 would be, well, you can play E flat diminished 7 over D, so that's what we're doing. Then we go to G major 7. Here I'm using a rolling little mini bar with the middle finger. I'm not just, you want to roll because, again, you want to get off of these swept notes, right? G7, just lower the pinky note 1 fret. And then C major 7. Okay, here the pinky, after the downstroke, you lift it up to play this note, but then you quickly put it back down on the B and G strings. The pinky does a little hop there. Then F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7 flat 9, which again is C diminished 7. And we're coming down the home stretch here. E minor 7, B7 flat 9. And we end with a little half step bend up to the root. Put a little English on it, a little shake. But ordinarily that's really hard to, trying to bend a string with the index finger a whole step, that's really hard. It's like painful. You see the blues guys do that and they make that grimace on their face. But half step is easier, much easier to bend and to get that vibrato. You do that by wiggling the wrist, kind of, letting the fingers fan out, B.B. King style. Although I don't think I've ever heard B.B. play a diminished 7th arpeggio. But okay, so that is the arpeggio part of it. Next, I'll show you the chords over which these arpeggios are based. I'm going to use what's called drop 2 voicings. Drop 2 means that you're taking the second note from the top of the arpeggio or chord and dropping it down an octave. This is done a lot in jazz arranging. Okay, so for the first chord, these are impractical to play on a guitar, to go. It's just too much stretching. So what I do is I took the second note, C, brought down an octave. So this is actually the second example. 2, 3, 4.